Hey family, so I kind of wanted to talk to you about animals and, life on Earth. So, as you know, our ancestors had to hunt and utilized animals in every single way possible so that we could survive. Because of our modern lifestyle, people can simply eat vegetables all day like a rabbit and think that because they are vegans that you are superior to people who eat meat. Here's the thing, don't compare a factory farm to a sustainable, humane, certified, non GMO, grass fed, pasture raised farm, okay? That's very disingenuous. If you want to eat nuts and grass all day, that's your prerogative. But don't shame people who want to eat some healthy organ meat or want to use some of their money to support a good company. Again, there are bad companies like Tyson and DiGiorno and a couple others, and you should call them out and fight for the animals to have better living conditions because it's not going to happen. The entire world is not going to be vegan. Um, Also, I think a lot of people have pointed this out. Just because you're vegan doesn't mean you don't cause harm to animals. Monocrop fields destroy the agriculture. There's ground nesting birds that when the tractors come to dig up the corn and the soy for all your fake tofu food, they get ground up. Rabbits, baby deer, any animal that can escape. Number one. Okay. Also, the plastic you use, the plastic clothes you buy, the fake fabric that goes in the ocean kills a bunch of fish, right? The car you drive pollutes the air that all the animals breathe. The where you live and build, you chop down all the trees the birds can't live. Again, there's a lot in the world that causes harm towards animals, and you step on insects, and there's just maybe you hit a dolphin with your boat. There's a lot that can cause harm to animals. So I find this really strange how people are starting to get upset that I have coyote pelts, which is pretty bizarre because we used to wear animal pelts to keep warm. And the Native Americans had a very excellent concept that I agree with is that you utilize every single part of the animal. The bones, you make bone broth. I do that. The skin, you make leather. People do that. The teeth, you can make jewelry. People do that. You use the bone marrow, you eat it. You use the organ meats, you eat it. Every single part, you eat it. The pelt, you keep it, like I said, and make clothes. The fur, you can, shave it off, whatever, use it, put it in a pillow. Utilize every part because every animal is born and every animal dies. So if an animal dies and I decide to take its pelt, it's not getting wasted, right? What's the difference between me putting it on the bookshelf than it just going into the dirt? And it doesn't encourage anything. The beauty of a wild animal is that they are wild, living free, and then in an instant, a bullet comes and they're out of the cosmos. That's it. Now, a factory farmed animal has an extended, all fast food is factory farmed food, okay? And they have an extended time period of suffering. But, again, certified B corporations and other good companies are out there, and I buy from them, and they treat their animals well, and there's inspections. Now, remember, in every single religion except for Buddhism, I think, and certain Asian religions, there is eating of animals. So if you eat a cheeseburger but then get mad, or you eat chicken or beef or goat or whatever it is you're eating, fish, salmon, blah blah blah, octopus, but then you get mad at my pelt on my bookshelf, it's really hypocritical. If you wear rubber shoes or you have rubber tires on your on your car, those get discarded and pollute the environment for animals. You living in a city causes direct harm to animals because they have no place to live, and humans are expanding and expanding and expanding and taking over animals' territory. So I find this very ironic. It's very virtue signaling in the weakest degree. It labels all farmers and ranchers and hunters and old time people as somehow evil and vile, and vegans as superior. It's a very weird thing because vegans can still commit crimes, they can still lie, they can still cheat, they can still hack your computer, they can still cut you off in traffic. You know, they can be bad lawyers, they can be bad judges, they can be bad cops. They can literally just be jerks. So don't think that because someone's a vegan that they're somehow superior. I mean, everyone's a vegan until society goes down. Humans will eat each other if they become starving. You know, you're privileged and live on an electrical grid, and you're able to go get your fancy kale shake or eat rice and beans and have a very unbalanced meal. Now, there is scientific data that shows factory farm meat versus grass-fed and finished pasture-raised meat is different in the nutrient content. So of course, less quality meat has less nutrients, and better quality meat from a healthy animal is going to be better. I mean, I've eaten a lot of organ meats and I've eaten a lot of exotic meats, and I can tell you there's a difference. Just like with fish, from a healthy fish and from a farmed fish is quite different. A wild Alaskan salmon versus a farmed salmon is going to have a different color, texture, and taste, and different nutrient densities. It's not rocket science. So I find it very bizarre that people will feel bad for an animal that its life was over in 2 seconds, right? Versus, an animal has prolonged in a shelter. A lot of these people who want a virtue signal, do you donate to an animal shelter? Do you donate to a zoo? Do you foster care animals? Do you treat your own animals well? You know what I mean? You should focus on that before trying to tell me you should take those animal pelts down because it teaches people to kill innocent animals. What does innocent mean when it comes to animals, right? I bet you I've harmed less animals than most people. I actually make a conscious decision to buy from good companies. Everything lives, everything dies. Do not waste anything. Waste not, want not. If you're getting mad at my coyote pelts when in America right now they just euthanized 2 million chickens, basically wasted the meat because there wasn't any butchers to harvest the chickens because of COVID-19, that's more of an atrocity because those chickens literally were born and died for nothing. Okay? And me, I advocate for people to eat roosters. In the chicken industry, the male chicks are put in a grinder alive and they're wasted because people only want to eat the female chickens, the hens, which I think is pretty bizarre. We could solve world hunger if we stopped wasting animals and we started using better agriculture that didn't pollute and create swamp poop lagoons like with pig factory farms. There's good ranchers out there, there's good people out there, don't demonize them all. And if you think that you not hunting makes you better because you go to a grocery store, I mean it's even strange because a poor farm worker is gathering your spinach and is not getting paid a 401k, doesn't have health insurance. Farm workers get very much abused. So yeah, you may not be eating a cow, but you're also buying from slave labor, essentially slave labor. So are you really better than anyone else? You may not be hurting animals, but you're hurting humans. I read labels. I buy fair trade. I buy humane certified, and then certified B corporations, the non-GMO project. I do as much as I can. Well, during this crisis, it's been a little bit harder to afford as many organic products, but I make a conscious decision. I buy raw organic milk from grass-fed cows, much more healthier than almond milk, which has a lot more preservatives. Or I make my own almond milk. I make my own rice milk with good, sustainable practices from good companies, right? So, also, don't tell me what to put in my background of my videos. Who are you to tell me what to do? It's very strange. This sense of entitlement, like you just get to tell everybody what to do and, the pelt offends you. There's a lot more. There's child labor going on in China. There's people eating cats and dogs in China. There's animals in kill shelters for PETA. PETA actually kills the PETA, that company. They constantly use women sexually to promote animal conservatories, but then have kill shelters for adopted dogs. and cats. It's very bizarre. So it's, there's a whole argument there. There's a lot of data out there. I was vegan for a long time and I did not really find that much benefits from it. Now I have more of a balanced diet, which is like a ketogenic, healthy meats as much as possible, which is much better for my, genetic makeup. Everyone has a different metabolism, DNA, and what their body's like and don't like. But cheese and dried cured meats helped humans survive during winters and during famines. And let me tell you, if you can't grow corn and all you have is one cow left, many vegans are going to eat that cow. They're not going to just starve to death. And if they do, they'll be a martyr. Good for them. But not everybody wants to eat fake tofu meat that gives you constipation, is chock filled with preservatives. Okay? And very hard to digest and can cause irritable bowel syndrome. So please, spare me. You need to do more research and don't get outraged about there being animal pelts, because those animals were free and, I'll make clothes out of them one day. I mean, I like animal pelts. Now, there are some terrible fur farms, especially in China, where they skin the animals while they're alive. That's a crime, and that's awful, but it's not the norm, right? And again, you can buy from good trappers. That's up to you as a consumer to buy from good people. And me buying those pelts help somebody to feed their family. All right? So it was going to be tossed away anyways. But I bought it and it's on my shelf and it's cool to look at and it's funny to watch kids go up and touch the tail and do things like that. And one day, maybe I'll have a zebra. Maybe I'll have a tiger. Maybe I'll have a big old grizzly bear. Maybe I'll have an elephant skull. I don't know. I like things like that because it's scientific and educational and reminds me of our true primal past outside of the electrical grid. Looking at animal pelts shows you how close you are to the real world. Your little fake North Pole fancy clothes from Macy's are artificial. Ain't none of that out there. Okay? And still, many tribal cultures still wear that today. The Eskimos still use animal fur. A lot of people do. Don't think that everyone who likes animal pelts is in this weird French fashion industry. No. And I have worked in fur shops. I have seen snow leopard and I've seen a lot of exotic pelts, and it's very warm. But leather is everywhere. It's in cars, and that comes from animals. So every part of the animal must be sold and utilized and not wasted, and I've done that. And if you waste food, you're not better than someone who eats meat and doesn't waste food. So again, if you find yourself getting offended by a simple dead animal pelt, you got some problem issues, some perspective issues. You got to really stop focusing on the tone color of my videos, what's in the background, what this or that. Just try to focus on what's important and focus on having a conversation and dialogue about what the video is about. And you whining is not going to make me change anything. I have no obligation to listen to what kind of decorations you like. And, do what you want in your own videos. And if it really offends you seeing a animal pelt, good luck surviving in the real world once the electrical grid goes down. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.